As we are concluding on our 21-day devotional, I want to begin by asking you this question. How often have you gone through a season where your dream dies? The death of a vision is one of the most difficult journeys you will ever experience in your life. Perhaps COVID-19 has hit you bad, very bad. I can relate with you. I have lost family members and several dear and respected friends, not to mention many other challenges I'm still facing right now. It's not easy, but I learned to put my trust in Jesus. And I want to take you to the book of Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15. And I'm reading from the New King James translation. It says, "For we do not have a high priest that cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, but was in all points tempted as we are, yet without sin." And in the book of, the same book, Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15, from the Passion Translation, it says, "He understands humanity. For as a man, our magnificent king priest was tempted in every way just as we are, and conquered sin." Isn't that awesome? Now, I want to share to you about this point only, resurrection of a vision. That is the subject that I want to emphasize today. The fact that you go through the death of a vision, please understand that with God, you can experience the resurrection of a vision. That means you depend on Him and not on yourself. You can appreciate process instead of complaining or grumbling. Again, in the book of Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15, He understands you. He understands you. Jesus gets you. He gets you. Now, let's think for a moment. Think for a moment. 3.5 years, Jesus walked the face of the earth, and with 12 chosen disciples that He chose by prayer. So they're with Him day and night. He knows them intimately. Isn't it interesting that in the last 3 months of His journey, He takes the disciples to the Samaritan territory, which was hostile territory. So He got 12 men. One of them is going to betray Him and set Him up for this great moment. The other 11 are going to be entrusted with taking the gospel to the ends of the earth, and yet they are still struggling. Thomas is still doubting before the resurrection, even after the resurrection. Philip is still struggling. He wants to see the Father. How about Simon? Simon is still making mistakes, and not only that, he denied Jesus. Jesus is still a son of thunder. As a matter of fact, it was in the last 3 months that Jesus sends James and John. James and John, they have a problem. And the problem was rage. They want to call fire from heaven. Think about this. Jesus went through all these things and many more. But let me tell you, His plan is still working till today. He accomplished His purpose, and He wants us to fulfill the call He has given us. God has given you a vision. God has given you His promises, and His promises are still yes and amen. He not only gives you the vision, He also walks with you. So I pray that the death of a vision will lead you to the resurrection of a vision God has given you. It is time to advance. Let's move on. Do not focus on the outward things that can cause you to be afraid. Focus on your inward peace that overcome your circumstance. I pray all of us that we finish strong. God bless you.